Our scripture reading this morning is from Matthew 11, 16 to 19 and 25 to 30. To what can I compare this generation? They are like children sitting in the marketplaces and calling out to others. We played the pipe for you, and you did not dance. We sang a dirge, and you did not mourn. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say, he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by her deeds. At that time, Jesus said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for this is what you were pleased to do. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. This is the witness of God's people. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, George, for the reading today. And as we pause to reflect upon it, I've given it a title just to help guide us a little bit in what I might bring: the wise and the foolish, or the wise and the unwise. In this time of the COVID pandemic, some things have been revealed and clarified. One such point may be made in a question. Are we a people who respond out of wisdom or foolishness? It may seem to be an offensive question, but it is not the first time it has been asked. In this scripture text for today, although Jesus is referring to the generation of his time, it seems it could just as easily be addressed to our generation. Jesus describes a generation that cannot or will not recognize the truth that is right in front of them. They thought that John the Baptist was a demon and considered Jesus to be a glutton and drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Interestingly, they describe Jesus by the company he keeps. Jesus, on the other hand, compares them to children. They are oblivious, like children who are occupied with playing games. The Messiah, the one that they have been waiting for, is right in front of them, yet they fail to see beyond the superficial appearance of the prophet and the Son of Man. In this text, it is clear that Jesus knows who he is, but can others see him, who he truly is? Chapter 11 begins with disciples of John coming to Jesus asking, are you the one who is to come, or are we to wait for another? It seems this question persists. How many times have you been misunderstood, characterized in ways that do not truly describe who you are? How frustrating it is for someone to assume they know something about you based on where you grew up, or where you went to school, your gender, or the color of your skin. A number of factors that simply do not capture the complexity of who you really are. While we often generalize based on a minimum of information, these characterizations can be inaccurate for an individual. This is called a stereotype. Stereotypes have multiple implications, ranging from violence to discrimination. However, their effective impact should also be considered. That is, it is disappointing and disheartening when someone does not see you for who you really are. In order to know someone, you must spend time with them and learn who they are. The Gospel of Matthew is often referred to as the teacher's gospel. Throughout the Gospel, Jesus teaches. There is an emphasis on his teaching ministry, and he leaves the disciples with the directive to go into the world and teach all nations. In order for them to teach others, they must first understand. Teaching facilitates truth becoming wisdom. Teaching reveals who Jesus really is. Wisdom clarifies our vision. When Jesus declares that wisdom is vindicated by her deeds, he is lifting up an important aspect of his Jewish heritage, the wisdom tradition. Wisdom grants us the ability to understand beyond our sensory perception, a huge challenge to our present society and circumstances, it seems. If wisdom is vindicated by her deeds, what are her deeds? We are told throughout the passages of Scripture that they are right there in front of us to read. But do we bother to do so? Wisdom provides order to chaos. That's in Proverbs 8:27 to 31. Wisdom grants us humility in Psalm 11, verse 12, and protects and guards us, Psalm 4 and verse 6. Wisdom is a life-giving gift that comes with the Lord's favor. According to the book of James, godly wisdom is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. That's in James 3, verse 17. The result of wisdom is self-evident. On the contrary, those who lack wisdom are fools. Not a term that people like to hear today. It feels too derogatory, too demeaning. Perhaps that's the purpose. At its minimum, fools are often considered playful, and so Jesus, comparing this generation to children playing in the marketplace, highlights their lack of understanding. Wisdom must be sought. It is given to those who seek it. The verb implies the need to act. Though wisdom is often associated with advanced age and intellect, Jesus' prayer makes clear that this generalization is not correct. The hidden things have been revealed to infants, the ones that we would consider likely less to understand. Therefore, revelation is the vital ingredient. Revelation is an unfolding of truth. Truth is not always readily apparent. Therefore, Jesus' unveiling is necessary for people to know him and to know God. Wisdom beckons all to a feast that has been prepared and warns against foolishness. Wisdom calls, "Come, eat my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed. Lay aside immaturity and live, and walk in the ways of insight." From Proverbs 9, verses 5 and 6. However, there is a cautionary tale, because just as wisdom calls for the choice we make, Jesus likewise extends an invitation when he tells the weary to come. Jesus offers respite for the weary. But what we may miss here is that Jesus is also highlighting the importance of instruction. Though we think of the yoke as an equipment for an animal, the term was often used in rabbinic teaching to refer to the task of obedience to the Torah. In order to obey the law, you must know the law. Jesus wants those who are burdened to learn from him. Jesus' gentle instruction will enable you to find rest for your soul, to find wholeness and completeness. Instructions are guides, and Jesus' guidance is not harsh nor arrogant, and therefore obedience to the word should be easy. Jesus' invitation is instructive. Wisdom enables self-reflection. Getting to know Jesus helps us to know ourselves better. And our pursuit of following Jesus is at the same time a pursuit of wisdom. In a world where the truth is often presented as debatable and lies are painted as true, we can become weary. But the truth does matter. As Christians, we follow Jesus, the true and living word, and we must always hold this fast to this foundation. Truth is the beginning of wisdom. It is the starting point for us to live faithful lives. There is always more to learn. We must seek wisdom, be open to instruction, so that our paths may become clearer and so that we can live peaceably and find rest from our labor. Recall in Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 to 23, Jesus declares, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven. And then I will declare to them, 'I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness.'" As we learn and mature in our walk with Christ, we should grow in understanding in understanding the importance of knowing God, and perhaps more importantly, being known by God in Jesus Christ. Amen.